Hey everyone, my name is Cryptic D Athena, and today is the day I reveal my One Piece mascot's Devil Fruit. Please sit back, relax, and I hope you enjoy tonight's Devil Fruit. Devil Fruit Fridays, Holiday Spotlight, the Mink Fruit. Athena's Devil Fruit is the Mink Fruit. This is a fruit that gives the user the power and abilities of minks. When she first eats the fruit, she is immediately turned into her mink form, and for a time, she assumes that is the extent of what her fruit does. However, the reveal of what a mink is to her and her crew would not be for a while, as they have no idea what a mink is. Although a devil fruit user learns the name and powers of the fruit when they first eat the fruit, Athena's fruit is a little bit different. Inspired by the way that Chopper's fruit works, the Mink fruit will always force the user into being in their mink form, 24/7. But also like Chopper, they have access to similar transformations that sort of take the place of the standard Zone 3-stage transformations. Because of this, her new form would be a recurring gag up until she learns how to properly use her fruit. While transformed, she becomes 7'7" in height instead of her original 5'7" height. Once she figures out how to use the fruit, she gets access to the standard base, hybrid, and full-on animal transformation of the fruit. Her base looks like a normal mink form. Her hybrid form enhances the animal features of her body, and her animal transformation makes her appear more feral, with some hints towards her Sulong form in the design, such as streaks of white hair. This is based on the idea that the Sulong form is the true form of the minks, but we'll get to that shortly. The Mink fruit transforms the user into a random mammalian animal. For Athena, she transformed into a hyena-like creature. As such, she acts similarly to that animal. Her laugh would emulate the famous laughter a hyena makes. Fun fact about hyena laughter: it's actually a sign of social anxiety or uncertainty. This would likely play into Athena's character, as I imagine she would have some anxiety about being openly trans. There are some other things about hyenas that come from physical capabilities of the animal, but minks seem to generally have more powerful body than a human. So these next few ideas are more generalizations of what Athena is able to do. Hyenas have powerful jaws that can reach a bite force up to 1,100 tons. Couple this with the size of Athena and her teeth become a powerful tool in battle. She also has far more speed capabilities than that of normal humans, as hyenas are able to run up to 37 miles per hour for several miles. This allows the animal to run down their prey into exhaustion. This means that Athena would be able to at least outrun most humans, or outperform them when it comes to maintaining stamina loss. Physical strength. Like all zones, the Mink fruit gives the user incredible strength, far beyond humans. Like all zones, the Mink fruit gives the user incredible strength far beyond humans. This strength also correlates to their incredible agility and leaping capabilities. Although this particular zone may not be as agile as, say, Carrot or a cheetah mink. Nonetheless, this zone is just as formidable and capable as any real mink. This next ability is an interesting find that I found a while ago, if it does turn out to be true. Minks can seemingly bypass observation hockey with their stealthy capabilities. This was shown in chapter 805, where Luffy admits to not even knowing he was being surrounded by the Zou Guardians. This could be a case of Luffy not always projecting his usage of observation hockey, as it is possible that he felt no threat on Zou. However, there are plenty of cases that kind of debunk this, as it seems once you get a decent understanding of observation hockey, it ends up being a passive ability. Even so, if it does turn out that minks are somehow able to bypass observation hockey, then it would be possible for this fruit as well. And in that regard, minks may be so well trained that they somehow have this strange ability. They can all naturally produce electricity as well, so it's not out of the realm of possibility. With all that said, users of the Mink fruit would still have to train themselves to use this ability, let alone training in stealth normally. And even if it turns out that minks are not able to bypass observation hockey, Animals in general have some instinctive level of stealth, so of course, any zone user can be potentially far more stealthy than a human. Quick recovery and stronger metabolism. Minks are noted to have better recovery rates and a more powerful metabolism than humans, which allows minks to have better time in battles. This is of course an ability of this zone. Electro. All minks are able to naturally produce electricity. It can be used in a variety of ways and can even be imbued with weapons. Of course, users of the mink zone will have access to this as well. Whether or not it is an immediate access is debatable, as Athena may not even realize she has this ability. Even so, Electro seems to be common knowledge to minks, enough to where you could say that someone who doesn't know anything about minks eats this fruit, that they would be able to use Electro instinctively. You can go one step further with this in seeing that when Luffy ate his fruit, he learned that his fruit was just rubber. He didn't learn Gear 2 or Gear 3 immediately, he just knew that he could manipulate his body in such a way that rubber can. So, theoretically, Athena may not know Electro until she finds out for herself. But with minks, it does seem like a natural ability that they have. Maybe they're born with it, but who knows? And lastly, but certainly not least, users of the mink fruit will also get access to Sulong form. This greatly increases the power and agility of all minks that use it. This form is accessed by minks looking into the moonlight, and it lasts indefinitely until their eyes are shielded or until it becomes morning. It is dangerous for minks to use this ability for too long, as they could potentially become far more dangerous through prolonged transformation. However, if a mink is well trained, they will be able to have longer access in this form. Users of the mink form will have to require this ability in the same way. They'll have to look in the moonlight, and then they'll get access to the form. Everything about the form is the same for the user, but notably, may not require proper training, as it is still an ability of the fruit. This means a user can train with this form on their own once they discover it. On the flip side, however, the user may not know how to initially control this form, because Sulong is sort of implied to be a technique to learn and to train with. So at least for the first couple of transformations, a mink fruit user, their mind may seem comparable to Chopper's Monster Point. The power of Sulong form for this devil fruit is altered between the 3-stage zone transformations. To make a comparison, if Athena were as strong as Luffy is now, Sulong form in her full-on animal transformation would be as strong as Luffy's Gear 4th. The second stage would be as strong as Gear 3rd, and the first stage would be as strong as Gear 2nd. This is taking into account that Athena has just as good as Hockey as Luffy. Zone Awakening. Zone Awakenings are a bit of a mystery in the One Piece world, as the only awakenings that we know are from Paramecia Devil Fruit users. We can assume with Logias that they will be able to do the same thing as Paramecias, creating whatever they are from their surroundings. But obviously, this wouldn't work for Zone Fruits, as that doesn't quite make any sense. There are the Impel Down guards, which are claimed to be awakened Zone users. However, I believe they are forced into their awakenings, as they seem completely devoid of control over their own powers. But we can certainly infer from their insane strength and durability that any zone that awakens would feasibly have the same effect on the user. Unfortunately, it's not the most creative approach, which is why I propose the idea for this specific zone. The Mink Fruit's awakening would allow the user to always be able to use Sulong form no matter the time of day. There are caveats to this, as obviously, Sulong form originally can only be used during the nighttime. And I would even say that if a Mink was able to access it during the daytime, it would be weaker, which is why this form would be weaker during the day if they activate it during the day. I'm going to call this form Sulong Black. The user of this fruit activates this ability by looking into the sun. Their fur turns black instead of white, and they gain the same capabilities as normal Sulong form on a much weaker scale. Coming back to the comparison between Athena and Luffy, if Athena were as strong as Luffy is now, Sulong Black would be as strong as Gear 2nd and 3rd combined, gradually getting stronger throughout each zone transformation stage. Sulong White would now be the most powerful form Athena could take, being comparable to any Gear 4th transformation and beyond, throughout each zone transformation stage. Again, this comparison is taking into account that Athena would have Hockey to match Luffy's. Other abilities that my character Athena has. Armament Hockey. Once the time comes for her to learn Hockey, I believe that she would be very proficient in armament, just by nature of her being physically strong now. It would suit her zone type greatly, and would be a massive boost in her Sulong form, either one of course. I think Observation Hockey would be Athena's favorite, and probably her second strongest form of Hockey. It would certainly aid her along with the smelling capabilities that Minks have. Finally, there's Conqueror's Hockey, but I don't know if she would have Conqueror's Hockey. Obviously, she is a part of the D clan, Cryptic D Athena. However, I don't know if that necessarily means if she's born from someone like Dragon or Garp, because I guess it's safe to assume that they both have Conqueror's Hockey on some level. Whether or not that means that Athena has it, I'm not sure. In my head, she's a part of the D clan, but she doesn't have Conqueror's Hockey. She's very strong-willed, and her power comes from her hard training. Now, obviously, Conqueror's Hockey is a measure of someone's willpower, and by that nature alone, she would probably have access to Conqueror's Hockey at some point. And I imagine she would use it in the same way that it's been used up to this point. But I wanted her character to be sort of her own thing, even though she is part of the D clan. But that's besides the point. If she had Conqueror's Hockey, it would be just as strong as it is in the show. Power weaknesses. Of course, she has the common Devil Fruit weaknesses, and she also has the additional heat irritation that Minks have. It seems to be just that they get really hot out in the sun. Maybe this would be a detriment in her daytime form. Maybe she would sweat too much and get really tired in her Sulong Black form. I think that could be an interesting drawback on that form, especially since, wow, she now has access to Sulong form during the daytime. It'd be even crazier if it was as strong as Sulong White, just all together, but it quickly drained her because she was using it during the day, and the heat from the sun affecting her fur in such a way. And that's everything I have for you all today. What do you think of my Mink fruit? Do you love it or hate it? And would you want the fruit? What do you think of my character, Cryptic D Athena? I know there's only her design to go off for right now, but I have plans to do her origin story, and I'm not sure when that will be finished. But just know I will be working on it. Either way, I hope you all enjoyed tonight's video. Please like, subscribe, and follow my Twitter at cryptic_HEL, Cryptic Hell, to see all of my videos' artwork. Thank you all for watching, and have a very happy Halloween.